What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and today I'm all the way up in the Bronx again by Pelham Bay. I covered this neighborhood a couple of years ago and it was pretty nice, so I'm back again to see what's going on. You know, so far I'm in the residential area. This neighborhood is actually pretty residential, has beautiful houses. It's right next to the Pelham Bay Park, which is one of the largest parks in New York City. But we're gonna go around and see what's going on, so without further ado, join me. And I think if I have time, it's a little bit hot, but I might go to another neighborhood not too far from here. I think it's called Country Club. And I heard it's actually pretty nice. They got some nice residential units, nice houses, so let's see what's going on. And over here you can see some of the nice houses. Pretty much similar to the houses that you'll see in some parts of South Brooklyn, New York. You know, here's part of the highway in the local park, and the other side of the highway, Interstate 95, is Pelham Bay, and then you can take the bus to Co-op City, Archer Beach, and of course City Island, which is the previous video that I filmed. So doing a little detour towards my left to see what's going on. It's just gonna be regular houses and apartment complex, but you know, just showing you like another side of the Bronx a lot of people don't show you. Then over here, this is typical in the Bronx, Bird Scooter and Lime Scooter, which is a scooter that you can get it by an app. You download the app and then it tells you the location where you can find a scooter. And you just rent it and you get around. But it only happens in the Bronx, in New York, you know, but it's a good way to get around because, you know, the Bronx is just massive and a lot of things are pretty much spread out. Over here you just see like a lot of apartment complex. More over here. And this is a residential street that takes you to Westchester Avenue, where the 6 train line is. So I literally got off the last stop of the 6 train. So, you know, they got 2 types of 6 train, one that goes express, another one that goes local. You know, but it's a good commute. You know, I don't mind commuting, especially in the summertime, and exploring, you know, all the type of neighborhoods that New York City has to offer me. So I think a block ahead of me, I'm gonna make a right to show you a little bit of Westchester Avenue, where the 6 train line is, and they have like a couple of business and establishments happening in ground level. And this is a nicer street where the trees are covering me. You see the mixture of the houses where apartment complex. So let's walk all the way towards the end, towards Westchester Avenue to see what's going on. Then look at the houses over here. Just like the previous video, City Island, it doesn't feel like if you're in the Bronx, New York. I can tell you, the further you go up north in the Bronx, the nicer it gets. It gets you like a residential, suburban, small town feel, you know. And then this is literally like not too far from the train station. See the beautiful trees, beautify the neighborhoods and helps out with the heat because it's hot today. And then over here we got apartment units, even parking in the ground level. Let me check out Westchester Avenue to see what's going on, to see the business, and then we're gonna start going down to the southern part of this neighborhood to see what else can we find. There's also a couple of local parks around here. And then I'll figure if I can make it towards the other neighborhood that I want to cover. A lot of people, they've been recommending me to go, and I think since I'm right here, today's the day for me to do it. And you see more houses right here, and then a nice apartment unit. Me, my style, I prefer to live in apartments. Everybody is different. A lot of people, they want to own a house, but I'm happy living in an apartment. That is just best for me, you know. But everybody is entitled to do what they love doing and what makes them happy. Over here you got Westchester Avenue. The 6 train line passes over here. Then I'll show you a little portion. Not much going on, but mostly by the train stations where you see the establishments. But if you go to another avenue, I think they got more business over there. I tell you, it's hot today, damn. But it's summertime, so they got a fast food chain. Burger King right here. Then in the corner they got a deli. I remember the last time I came and I filmed here, I went to this deli and I bought, you know, I think a water or some juice or something. Or they got empanadas in the corner. And they got more here. Then over here they got the Lime scooters. Like I said, they had the Bird scooters. This is the other line of scooters that they got over here. So they got 2 options for you to rent. And of course, Dunkin' Donuts right here. I love the sky, how blue it is. And the last stop of the 6 train is literally right here. So I'm gonna turn back and start merging into other neighborhoods to see other streets to see what's going on. The other avenue that I want to explore is Crosby Avenue. That's like another main street that they have here with establishments. But then over here, I get an intersection, so I'm gonna do a detour into one of the regular streets to see what's going on. Next to the train, see local apartments. Down here, you know, nice residential streets. I think over here, I'll make a right in the next block to walk towards the local park, see what's happening. You know, I gotta tell you, today the heat is getting me, man, because I've been spoiled with some nice weather. But hey, that's good, you know, nothing's gonna stop me from being outside. Then ahead of me is 194th Street, so I'm gonna make a left and walk all the way towards the local park to see what are the vibes over there. But view's gonna get really nice when I show you the street, what it looks like. There are a lot of buildings over here that have the brick style look. You know, the brick colors and everything. Then over here, I think this is gonna be a nice street with the residential units and the houses. I tell you, it could take, on a rush hour, it could take you maybe like 45 minutes from here all the way to Midtown Manhattan, you know. So it's not really that bad to come here, because it's like straight if you take the 6 train straight. And over here you see nice looking houses and stuff. And they got some brick buildings, like this one with a triangle and everything. I think a lot of people that live here, they have cars, you know, so. Because we're not too far from Westchester County. And Westchester County has more of that suburban feel, even though they got some big cities there like Yonkers and Mount Vernon. And I'm literally going down the hill because, like I said many times, Uptown and Upper Manhattan and the Bronx, they have a lot of hills. So it's a good ball for you to work out or do some cardio while walking around. The name of this local park is Kushi Playground. I think I came here the last time, you know, and it's like right by the highway. So we're gonna check out the vibes over there. This over here is Mayflower Avenue. And we got some nice houses over here. But behind the houses is actually the playground. Thank God there's more trees over here, so it helps out with the weather. Then there's an entrance right here. I can even hear the music of people playing salsa. It was like that the last time I came, but then look at my surroundings. See how beautiful it is, the house and everything, like, you know, really lovely, pleasant neighborhood that we got here in the northern part of the Bronx. Playground is behind me, but it got music playing, but you can see some of the people that are playing, I think it's like racquetball, then on the other side they're just playing checkers or dominoes and playing like oldies music, but you know, pretty lovely. So now I'm just gonna walk maybe like 2 blocks of Mayflower Avenue and then start making it towards Crosby Avenue. Taking my time because the heat is, you know, a little bit extreme, but you know, it's been a minute since I've been here and it's actually really pleasant, but I think it's gonna get nicer the further I walk over here. So I'll just keep on showing you the vibes in this beautiful neighborhood. Here's the intersection of Mayflower and Wilkinson Avenue. So I guess over here just mostly like brick style houses. And you got a nice street there with the trees, and then over here is like the hill. This neighborhood has three subway stops. And the last stop is, of course, is Pelham Bay Park. That was the stop that I got off. The first time I came here, I got off in the first stop, but this time I got off at the last stop. So I'm working my way from north to south. Also, the neighbor is giving me a little semi-vibe of Morris Park, that is also here in the Bronx. And it's a really nice neighborhood with nice residential units, a huge Albanian community over there, and also like Italian, you know. The real Italy is actually here in the Bronx, not in Manhattan, by Belmont, Arthur Avenue, but also if you go to Morris Park, they have an Italian community with a lot of restaurants. So I cover the neighborhood, so maybe I'll go back there and film it in the summertime so you guys can have an idea what it looks like. And this house is here to my left. You get them all over New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, and here in the Bronx. So yeah, pretty nice, you know, and you can hear the birds. Because I tell you, it's summertime. It's going fast. There's only like a month and a half left of summer over here, so trying to make the most off of it. And you can see there's an airplane flying on top because LaGuardia Airport is not far from here. It's in Queens, but I guess they fly from here and then they land around this area. So, oh, look at this apartment. It looks really cool. I like it, the bricks and everything. Now here I'm doing cardio because the street is literally going up the hill. Like I said, there's so many hills in the Bronx, but that's really cool. You know, it's a cool vibe. You can see what I'm talking about. Look how it goes up. And then we got some nice looking houses in both directions. And pretty quiet, you know, only a few people walking out in the streets. So I think a block ahead of me, I can make a left and find my way to the street that's gonna merge into Crosby Avenue where they got a main street. and start walking deep. And I think there should be like an overpassage that passes by Interstate 95, and it will take me to Country Club neighborhood. So it will be my first time to cover that area. So this intersection ahead of me is called, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Bury Avenue. You know, it's really hard to pronounce. But and the other side is like some apartment units. I got to make it towards the left over here. I just want to cross the street and show you what's happening ahead of me right here. And here you see apartment complex. Then there's some trees, and there's a tall residential unit here, another one right here. And then I see the 6 train line. It passes over that way. So I'm also taking a little shelter by the trees, you know, trying to protect me from this heat. Because I tell you, the heat and the humidity in New York City is just no joke. It just, I don't know, for some reason it just hits different than any other place that I've been. And then here you got some tall apartment complex, and they have balconies. So then across the street you got more. Now ahead of me, I think this is where it's gonna get more exciting, the neighborhood. Because you got a 6 train line, like I said, Crosby Avenue, and there's will be a lot of local establishments right there. So maybe I might find a little bit of action out here in Pelham Bay. So the 6 train is right there. And then you see some houses and conveniences right here. Or apartment complex. Now we're going down the hill. Hopefully I don't got to take a hill up. So this over here is Crosby Avenue. You can see a lot of establishments, but pretty chill over here. I think they got like a bodega out here or like a taqueria. I don't even remember if I walked this avenue the last time I came here, but it's good to walk and see what it looks like now. You can see a lot of business out here, local shops, you know. Got a famous Dunkin' Donuts across the street, a discount store. So, you know, everything. So no matter what neighborhood you go, even if it's a quiet, chill neighborhood, it's always good, you know, you're always gonna find anything within walking distance. Including neighborhoods like this, that's one thing that I like about New York, like you can get around without needing a car. So this is Crosby Avenue, but based on the map, most of the neighborhood is just residential, you know, houses, apartments, so, you know, super working class community out here. And over here, just like many other neighborhoods throughout the city, they develop a new residential unit. Seems like it has parking in the first floor. And then you see local streets like this. And over here, I think is where I'm really gonna get cooked with the heat, because there's no trees, just open areas like this, but the sky is beautiful and blue. Over here, I made a detour. Gonna walk towards Edison Avenue, because that's like a little tiny local park, so I wanna see what it looks like. But over here is looking pretty nice, what I'm seeing, like the units. Like you see, it's just houses. So over here, it seems like it's mostly houses than apartments, like in the other side of this neighborhood in Pelham. So I think this neighborhood is bigger than what I thought. Like I said, I covered it a few years ago, but I don't think I covered enough of it. But now here I am, you know, giving it like a second chance. And wow, you know, it's pretty nice. Like I say, it's super residential. Also, the neighbors kind of remind me a little bit of Wakefield, which is the northernmost neighborhood out in New York City, in the Bronx, you know. And it literally tips up with Mount Vernon and Westchester County. I covered that neighborhood too. I'm looking at some of the houses, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of that neighborhood. Look at this street, how nice it is. This is Edison Avenue. And plenty of areas for you to park your car, you know. Over here, like in the street parking. Then a few blocks down should be a local park. And as you can see, there's a lot of houses out here, so. And it keeps going, you can see like the houses, how they are behind me. You know, so they got like really a lot of vegetation out here. Like I said, I'm noticing a lot of street parking out here, so. You know, in New York City, it's really hard to find parking in the streets. But I notice there's a lot of street parking out here in this neighborhood. This tree, how big it is, wow. It's beautiful, huh? And then of course the houses. More houses over this side, so. And then I think a block down should be the local tiny park. Don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, but let's check it out. So the name of this tiny park is Buffano Park. I see it ahead of me, and I see a big fence. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be like a baseball field, but hey, I'm gonna walk in front to see what the park looks like. Here it is, pretty much like any other regular park in New York City. You got the area where you can play handball or racquetball. And the house is right here to my left. And then what is here in the middle? Is this like a pool, or? I can't even raise my camera high. Okay, looks like it's a tennis court. And then they got the bathrooms in the middle. And then the basketball court, it's really hard to be playing basketball out in this heat. I see two young gentlemen playing out there, so kudos to them. Now my mission is to walk to Baisley Avenue, and according to what I've seen in the map, there's supposed to be like a overpassage, so hopefully it really assists, and it would take me to Country Club. So I'll see if I can explore a little bit of that neighborhood, end up in the park, and then wrap up the video. Now I'm in Baisley Avenue. So like I say, apparently, in God's willing, there is an overpassage bridge, and now I have to go the other way. So I'm gonna walk to see and find out. Only one way to find out, and hopefully we could check out a little bit of Country Club to see what's going on over that side. Also, I passed Crosby Avenue, and for Crosby Avenue, you could take the bus. If it could take you to another neighborhood that's not far from here. There goes the sun behind me. But yeah, it's really good that no matter what type of neighborhood you go, there's always options for you to transport and commute around. I see a lot of people with the e-scooters, you know, because this neighborhood is actually pretty big to get from one side to another one. So it's a good, convenient way for you to transport around, you know. Just got to make it happen. This is hilarious. They even have an avenue that's called Hollywood Avenue, which is this one right here. Like a little local church. And then you can see the streets. How nice it is. I'm praying to God that I find that overpassage according to the Google Maps. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if it assists. Well, so it does assist. And then over here's the Q50 train. The bus. This takes you to Flushing, Queens. So it's really cool that you can connect, you know, for the Bronx to Queens by a bus. Because they don't have a train that takes you straight to Bronx to the Queens without going through Manhattan. So hopefully in the future they can connect, you know, a train from Bronx to the Queens. That way, you know, you don't gotta go through Manhattan. But here's the overpass, and I can see Country Club and the other side. So here we are, busy 95 right here. I'm scared of heights, so I'm panicking a little bit. Let's make it towards the other side. And then here and now on the other side of the bridge, I'm making it to the neighborhood of Country Club. So it's my first time here, so let's see what the neighborhood has to offer me. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be nice. So guys, welcome to Country Club. And so far I'm loving what I'm seeing. Beautiful houses over here. Look at this tiny house right here. It's cute though. I'm gonna walk over here a couple of blocks. You know, like I said, I'm not really familiar with the area, so I'm just tracing my Google Maps to see what are the vibes over here and what can I find. But this neighborhood has really been recommended for me to check it out. So I'm here now, so let's explore a little bit of what this neighborhood has to offer me. So you got nice residential streets with the beautiful blue skies. We keep walking towards this way, a lot of nice cute houses. They're not too big, but they're actually, you know, pretty nice. And it's like a isolated area out in the Bronx. But I guess the best way to get here is through the bus. Over this side is getting nicer. I'm just loving the trees. Kind of reminds me a little bit of those trees in Puerto Rico called ceiba, which are pretty huge and massive. Then the houses towards my left, you know, it's pretty gorgeous. I also can smell the nature. I gotta watch my steps so I don't trip. You know, the sidewalks, but they're pretty well maintained though. Look at this houses, how cute they are. Yeah, it's pretty lovely. I like it. Look at this. The funny thing is I hear every time the airplane's flying above me. Like I could be wrong, but I think they're literally heading towards like LaGuardia Airport. Because it's probably closer toward this area than JFK. Look at this house over here. It's cute, isn't it? I think this is just the beginning. And then it matches with the blue sky. So I think I gotta do a detour towards my left and make it to other streets and Country Club. But this is another of those neighborhoods that I tell you, man, it doesn't even feel like if I'm in the Bronx. Like, shoot, look at these houses and stuff. Plus the demographics, like it feels like you're somewhere else, you know. But that's what I'm trying to show you guys, like there's so much more to the Bronx, because a lot of people, they want to focus only on the negativity or in the bad areas, but it's only like a little portion of the Bronx. The Bronx really has a lot of great neighborhoods and a lot of hidden gems. Also, it smells like barbecue. It seems like somebody's doing some barbecue. This one here is called Wilcox Avenue. I think it must be nice. Well, let me show you behind me, the trees, wow. It's actually pretty cute. I think over this area it's gonna get nicer, so I'm gonna detour in some of the streets to show you the houses. I'm already liking what I'm seeing. So yeah, I'm gonna cross and merge into some of the regular streets here to show you how it turns, how the vibes over here, they change. Look at this beauty over here. Look how nice the houses are. Pretty cute. I'm really loving this area. Wow, the house across the street is actually gorgeous. Has like a little gray color, and the windows has like a little goldish color, so wow. This house is actually pretty big, keeps going, and modern too at the same time. So it seems like it's two houses separate. I don't know if they're by the same owner, but yeah, looks like it. And this here seems to be private. They have a building over here. So yeah, I think it's called, I can't read, Sisters of St. John the Baptist, provincial residence. So I guess it's like a private residence. Then look how well maintained the trees are over here. Yeah, I think it gets actually nicer over here when I walk on this side. Kind of give you a semi-vibe of Riverdale and Spuyten Duyvil. We're just in the Bronx. Spuyten Duyvil is pretty gorgeous too, and it has that feel like if you're not in the Bronx. I got to see the water through the back area of this house. I don't know if you can see it from here. That's the water, and it smells really good. I literally smell the ocean from right here, so it gives you that nice feel. You usually don't smell nature like this when you're literally like in Midtown Manhattan or other neighborhoods, or even where I live. It doesn't smell like this. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And at the same time, it's so cool that you could take the bus over here. I see a bus stop. So no matter what neighborhood you go, it's pretty walkable. And I've literally seen maybe like 2 or 3 people doing this entire entrance that I did here in Country Club. I only saw one person in the bus stop. Oh, look at this pine tree. Look how beautiful it is. So this pine tree is pretty old because it takes a long time for these pine trees to grow, really high up. And you got more nice looking streets and houses over here. But the sun is kind of blocking it, so you can't really see it clearly. And there's more over this way. But I think I'm gonna hit Polo Street, make it right, then another left to see what's going on, and then I'll make it back forward, heading towards Pelham Bay Park. And look at this house, how cute it is. It's pretty nice. This over here is Polo Place, so let's make right to see what is going on, and wow. So far it's looking gorgeous out here. The houses and everything. Also, just like I said when I was filming in Flatbush, hopefully a Karen doesn't come out upset at me or trying to be curious what the heck I'm doing. But look at this over here. Like, this is the Bronx? Yes, it is. Better believe it. Like I tell you, the Bronx is just massive with so many types of neighborhoods out here. Look at the house. The thing is, like I said, these neighborhoods are pretty isolated, so that's why it also has like this impeccable style. So this side here is nice, but it has no sidewalks, just like Riverdale by the Metro North. And a lot of places throughout the United States, they're like this, like they're gorgeous, but they're pretty isolated with no sidewalks. So, seems like it's a little bit more private here, but luckily it's only like a little bit. Then this house says 24-hour surveillance, so they have cameras out here. So, if you try something, they're literally watching you. So, safety standards out here. They actually have a Catholic school to my right side called Villa Maria. So you can see it's privately secured. So right here in this neighborhood, pretty big though. And then of course the houses that continue going. Like I said, I'm gonna keep making it a little bit more towards the northern part of the neighborhood until I make it to Pelham Bay Park, which is gonna be nice. And I think it's gonna be the area for me to do my grand finale and literally wrap up my video. So this over here is Stadium Avenue, and pretty gorgeous. So I'm gonna walk a little bit forward until I make it closer to the park. Here it keeps going. Look at these houses over here. Seems like there's a couple of units in one of these buildings individually, and the nice paved sidewalks. It's kind of mostly like duplex houses, like 2 in 1. And I think when I was a kid, I used to live in one of the duplex houses in Watertown, all the way in upstate New York. Now I'm in Library Avenue, so this over here is gonna make me walk straight and head towards the park. Tell you, I'm a little bit drained because of the heat and the walk. I did a long walk from Pelham Bay all the way over here, but it was totally worth it. I get to explore something different. Like I said, it's my first time in Country Club, and so far, it's a really nice, lovely neighborhood. So I'm glad that I was able to make it here after a lot of people in the comments recommend me to come check it out and film over here. Here, the airplane, and then the houses that they have over here. pretty nice. A lot of streets, they look pretty much, alike. And here is Pelham Bay Park, as you can see, from 6 to 10, the beginning. So I could be wrong, but I think it's actually the biggest park in the entire New York City, because it goes all the way in the other side. They got Orchard Beach. So, they got different sections that divides this park. And if you go all the way towards the other side, you pass the highway and then you end up back again by the Pelham Bay train station, the 6 train. But this is exactly what I'm gonna do. They even have a nice parking lot over here, so gonna walk a little bit more forward to see what's going on, and then I wrap up the video. Look at this urban oasis right here. Greenery, the trees, right here, between Country Club and Pelham Bay. Then on the other side, when you cross 95, you can take the bus to City Island, Co-op City, and Orchard Beach. I think over here I'll shortcut, and it takes me to the other side where I want to go. But actually, like a really good workout. Like I say, you really don't need a gym in New York City. So many places for you to walk, exercise, the hills and everything, like the cardio. You would definitely stay in shape. Just loving the greenery, like the trees and everything out here. Wow, it's so beautiful to be surrounded by nature. But I think this is gonna be a perfect spot for me to wrap up this video out here in the Bronx. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there. Everybody, God bless y'all, and peace.